Captain Ryan Hale was a soldier who had already seen too many wars. His shuttle had gone down on a desolate frontier world after a sudden space battle between the human fleet and the alien empire known as the Valons. He survived the crash but found himself cut off from his unit and without a way to signal for rescue. For 3 days he had been moving carefully through dry valleys and rocky ridges, searching for food, water, and shelter. Ryan was tired, hungry, and running low on strength. Still, he refused to give up. His training had taught him to keep moving, to never stop fighting as long as breath remained in his body. That determination was what kept him alive on this hostile world. As the sun dipped low over the horizon, painting the sky with orange and red streaks, Ryan heard a sound that froze him in place. It was not the growl of a predator, nor the rustle of wind across the canyon floor. It was the frightened cry of a child. He followed the sound carefully, climbing up a rock ledge and scanning the canyon below. His sharp eyes caught sight of movement. A small figure was trapped against a cliff wall. She was young, perhaps no more than 10 in human years, with pale silver skin and long hair that shimmered like moonlight. Her wide eyes were filled with terror as 3 long, wolf-like creatures circled closer, their teeth glinting in the fading light. Ryan did not stop to think. Instinct and duty drove him forward. He slid down the rocks, drawing the combat knife from his belt. The creatures turned toward him, snarling. The first one leaped. Ryan dodged aside, his knife flashing upward. The blade sliced across its shoulder, and the beast yelped before stumbling back. The second one came from the side, snapping at his arm. Ryan twisted, using his boot to kick it hard in the chest, knocking it down. The third beast darted toward the girl. Without hesitation, Ryan hurled a rock, striking it in the ribs. The child screamed and pressed against the cliff wall as Ryan stood between her and the creatures. He fought with the precision of a soldier who had trained for years. Each move was fast and decisive. His knife cut across the first beast's neck. His boot slammed into the second's head. The third lunged again, but Ryan caught it by the throat and drove his blade down. Breathing hard, he stood over the fallen predators, sweat dripping down his forehead. His arms trembled from the effort, but his focus quickly shifted back to the child. "Are you hurt?" he asked, his voice calm even though his chest still heaved. The little girl shook her head, her silver hair falling over her face. Tears clung to her cheeks, but her eyes locked on him with something between fear and wonder. Ryan knelt so he would not seem threatening. He noticed her clothes were fine, woven with symbols of rank. This was not an ordinary child. She was someone important. "Stay close to me," he said gently. "I'll get you out of here." She hesitated but finally stepped forward, her small hand clutching the fabric of his torn uniform. Her trust was fragile, but in that moment Ryan knew he had to protect her no matter what. They moved carefully through the canyon, Ryan keeping his knife ready. He guided her up the rocky slope where the creatures could not follow. By the time they reached the top, the last light of the sun had faded and the stars began to cover the sky. The girl spoke for the first time. Her voice was soft, musical, but full of fear. "My mother. She will be looking for me." Ryan nodded. "We'll find her." "Who is your mother?" The girl lowered her eyes. "The Queen." The word struck Ryan like a heavy blow. If she spoke the truth, then he was holding the daughter of Zarethia, the ruling queen of the Valan Empire. Ryan knew the Queen's name well. She was powerful, feared, and known for her hatred of humans. Before Ryan could ask more, lights appeared in the distance. Dozens of armored figures approached swiftly, their energy weapons glowing. The girl gasped with relief. "The Royal Guard!" she cried, running forward. Ryan stayed where he was, holding his hands away from his knife. He knew how this would look. A human soldier alone on a Valan world, standing beside their princess. The guards formed a circle around him, weapons raised. Their faces were hidden behind black helmets, but their voices dripped with fury. "He has touched the air," one shouted. "Kill him where he stands," cried another. The girl turned, spreading her arms in front of Ryan. "No. He saved me. He fought the beasts. Do not hurt him." The guards hesitated, their weapons still aimed at Ryan. Then the crowd parted as a tall figure stepped through. She was regal, draped in flowing garments of deep crimson and silver. Her crown shone beneath the starlight, and her presence silenced all around her. It was Zarethia, the queen of the Valans. Her eyes were sharp as blades, filled with suspicion and pride. She looked first at her daughter, then at Ryan, then at the dead beasts below the canyon. The queen's voice was cold as she spoke. "A human soldier here holding my daughter. Explain yourself before I end your life." Ryan straightened, meeting her gaze without fear. His uniform was torn, his hands bloodied from the fight, but he stood tall. "I did not come here by choice," he said firmly. "I found her in danger. I protected her because no child should die like that." The little princess rushed to her mother, tugging at her hand. "He speaks true, mother. He saved me. He kept me safe." The queen's expression softened for only a moment as she knelt to touch her daughter's face. Then her eyes returned to Ryan, hard as stone once more. "Take him to the palace," she ordered the guards. "Alive. I will decide his fate." The guards moved in quickly, seizing Ryan by the arms. He did not resist. His mind raced, but he kept his face calm. He had faced death many times before, but this time was different. His survival no longer depended on his blade or his training. It depended on the judgment of a queen who saw humans as enemies. As they marched him away beneath the stars, the little princess looked back over her shoulder, her eyes full of unspoken trust. Ryan knew one thing with certainty. Whatever came next, his life had already changed forever. Ryan Hale walked carefully through the grand halls of the Valen Palace. The corridors were vast, stretching higher than any human building he had ever seen. Walls glimmered with smooth silver stone, etched with symbols he could not read. Soft blue light illuminated the halls, coming from panels embedded in the floor and ceiling. Despite the calm appearance, tension filled the air. Guards followed closely behind him, their weapons ready. The little princess walked beside him. Her small hand occasionally brushed against his arm for reassurance. She seemed unafraid, yet her steps were quick and precise, moving as if she already knew every corner of the palace. Ryan noticed the way the guards gave her space, bowing slightly as she passed. The child's presence commanded respect even at her young age. Finally, they reached the central chamber. The doors were massive, tall enough that even Ryan had to tilt his head to see the top. The metal doors opened silently, revealing the throne room. It was more magnificent than anything he had imagined. High ceilings arched like the sky itself, and light reflected off polished surfaces. The queen sat on a throne of black and gold, a presence so commanding that Ryan felt both awe and fear. Zarathia's eyes locked onto him immediately. She did not rise from her throne, but her gaze seemed to pierce through him. Around her, a circle of advisors and generals watched silently. Their expressions were sharp and skeptical, many of them clearly anticipating the chance to see a human punished. Ryan stepped forward, keeping his hands visible. His heart pounded, but his voice remained steady. "I am Captain Ryan Hale of the United Human Fleet. I was stranded here after a battle. I found the child in danger and acted to save her." Nothing more. The queen's lips pressed together. Her face betrayed nothing, yet her eyes flicked briefly to her daughter. The child nodded slightly, confirming Ryan's words. A tall advisor spoke first, his tone icy. "Your Majesty, this human is an enemy. He is dangerous. Even if he claims to have saved the princess, we cannot ignore that he is capable of violence against our people." Another general stepped forward. "He fought and killed Valen beasts. That is a sign of skill. Perhaps he is brave, but we do not know his intentions. He could be here to deceive us." Zarathia raised a hand, and silence fell like a heavy curtain. The advisors froze mid-gesture, the tension in the room palpable. She regarded Ryan with a quiet intensity. "Do you understand the position you are in?" she asked. Her voice was calm but carried the weight of authority. "I do," Ryan replied without hesitation. "I know that I am a human and that your people may see me as a threat. I only ask for a chance to prove that I meant no harm." The queen's eyes narrowed slightly. "Many humans would lie to save themselves. Why should I believe you?" Ryan took a slow breath. He could feel the eyes of the entire court upon him. "Because I saved your daughter without thought of reward or fear of danger. I protected her when no one else could. My actions speak louder than words." For a moment, the chamber was completely silent. Even the guards seemed to pause, unsure of what the queen would decide. The little princess stepped forward slightly, her voice soft but firm. "Mother, he saved me. I am safe because of him. Please do not punish him." Zarathia's expression softened ever so slightly as she looked at her daughter. The child's trust in this human soldier was clear. She could not ignore it, yet the queen had her empire to consider. Allowing a human to remain close to her daughter was a dangerous choice, one that could have political consequences. Bring him forward, she ordered. 2 guards stepped ahead, holding Ryan's arms, and guided him closer to the throne. The queen studied him carefully. I will not make my decision lightly. You are a human, and your kind has long been our enemy. Yet your actions cannot be denied. She paused and looked to the council. If I sentence him to death, it will be for nothing but caution. If I spare him, it will be because he has earned a measure of trust. But trust must be tested. Ryan inclined his head, acknowledging her words. He understood the delicate balance he now faced. One wrong word, one misstep, and his life could end in an instant. The queen stood, moving gracefully from her throne. Her presence seemed to fill the room, commanding silence and attention. She walked slowly toward Ryan, her eyes never leaving his. When she stopped just a few feet away, she extended a hand, not in friendship, but as a test. Tell me, human, she said, if I give you a chance to stay here, to live under my protection, will you follow my rules without question? Will you respect my daughter and my empire? Ryan's answer was immediate. Yes, Your Majesty. I will do everything to protect your daughter and to serve you faithfully. I will not act without your permission, and I will not betray your trust. The queen's lips curved slightly, though not quite a smile. She returned to her throne and gestured for Ryan to stand before her. She examined him with careful scrutiny. Your words are acceptable for now, but you must understand that even small mistakes could be fatal. You will remain here under watch. Your actions will be observed and your loyalty tested. The advisors murmured among themselves. Some looked pleased, others angry. A few even whispered threats under their breath, clearly unwilling to accept a human so close to the royal family. Serathia raised her hand again, silencing the whispers. You will live, she said, her voice firm. But you are no longer free. You are under my direct supervision, and any act against the safety of my empire or my daughter will be punished without mercy. Ryan bowed his head slightly, as much in respect as in relief. Thank you, Your Majesty. I will not fail you. The queen nodded once and turned her attention to the princess. My daughter, you will not leave my sight. You understand the danger, but I trust your judgment. You may choose to speak to him freely, but you must remember that his presence is still a matter of great caution. The princess smiled faintly and walked toward Ryan. Thank you for saving me, she whispered. I know it was dangerous. I will not forget it. Ryan felt a warmth he had not expected. The child's trust was a small yet powerful reward. You are safe now, he said quietly. I will do everything I can to keep it that way. The queen rose once more. Guards, take him to quarters within the palace. He will remain there until I decide his next test. Leave him with the princess if she wishes, but remain nearby at all times. I will be watching. As Ryan was escorted from the chamber, he glanced back. Zerathia's eyes followed him, sharp and calculating. He could feel her judgment heavy and constant. The palace halls were quiet now, but Ryan knew that his life had changed completely. He was no longer just a soldier stranded on a hostile world. He was a guest, a prisoner, and potentially a protector of the most important child in the Velan Empire. The little princess walked beside him again, holding his hand as they moved through the corridors. Will she really let you stay? She asked softly. Ryan smiled faintly. She has a way of testing people. If I do what is right, I might just earn her trust. One step at a time. They reached a small chamber, decorated simply but comfortably. Soft light filled the room, and the view overlooked the valley below. For the first time in days, Ryan felt a small measure of safety. You may rest here, said a guard. Do not leave until the queen allows it. The princess sat quietly by the window, and Ryan took a seat across from her. Tell me about yourself, he said gently. What do you like to do? Her silver eyes met his. I like to explore, she said, but I cannot go far. I am the heir, and the palace is my home. My friends are the guards, the animals in the gardens, and the stars above. Ryan nodded. Then we will explore together as much as we can. You are safe now, and I will make sure of it. The little princess leaned back, her face thoughtful. I think you are brave, human, more than most I have met. Ryan smiled, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. I will not let you down. Not now, not ever. Outside, the palace lights shone across the valley. The stars above were bright and endless. Ryan knew he had survived the first test, but many more challenges awaited him. He was a human on an alien world, surrounded by power, intrigue, and danger. Yet for the first time, he felt a purpose beyond survival. He had been given a chance to protect a life, to earn trust, and perhaps to change the course of an empire. And he would not waste it. The next morning, the palace seemed even more immense to Ryan Hale than the day before. Every corridor, every hall, and every archway seemed to stretch endlessly. The architecture was elegant, with smooth silver walls that reflected the soft blue light. Strange carvings depicted scenes of Valan history, battles, and ceremonies. Ryan walked carefully, always aware that guards followed him closely. Their eyes never left him, and he felt their suspicion in every step. The little princess, Lyra, walked beside him, her small hand brushing against his arm. She seemed more relaxed now that she had been reunited with her mother, yet Ryan noticed a lingering caution in her movements. She was wise for her age, and he suspected she had already learned how to navigate life under the gaze of the queen. For the first time since the rescue, Ryan had a chance to observe the palace life. Servants moved quietly through corridors, bringing food and supplies. Scholars and advisors consulted in small groups, their voices low and respectful. Guards patrolled every area, always alert, their energy weapons at the ready. Despite the calm appearance, Ryan sensed tension beneath the surface. The palace was a place of power, and power always carried danger. Lyra led him to a small courtyard within the palace. The area was surrounded by high walls, yet the sky above was open, showing the bright stars and 2 moons of the frontier world. A garden of alien plants filled the courtyard, glowing softly in the pale light. Some trees had leaves that shimmered like silver, while others had flowers that pulsed with gentle light. The garden was peaceful, yet Ryan knew danger could be near at any moment. "You can rest here," Lyra said, pointing to a bench near the center of the garden. "The guards cannot enter unless I call them. This is my private space." Ryan nodded and sat, letting his muscles relax for the first time in days. "It is beautiful," he said quietly. "I have never seen plants like these before." Lyra smiled faintly. "The palace has many gardens. Some are for study, some are for pleasure, and some are for secret meetings. The queen does not always want to be disturbed. I come here to think." Ryan studied her carefully. "Do you enjoy being a princess?" he asked. Lyra's eyes darkened for a moment. "Sometimes it is hard. I cannot leave the palace freely. I cannot play with other children. I am always watched, but I like knowing that my mother trusts me to be careful." Ryan nodded. "I understand. You are wise beyond your years. That is why you survived the canyon." Lyra glanced at him, a faint smile forming. "And you survived too. I saw how you fought the beasts. You were brave." Ryan felt a warmth at her words. "I only did what had to be done. I could not leave you there. I would not forgive myself if I had." The two sat in silence for a few moments, watching the alien garden glow under the twin moons. Ryan knew that their brief peace could not last. The palace was full of intrigue, and he was an outsider in a place where loyalty was everything. He would need to earn trust, not only from the queen but from the entire court. As the evening approached, Ryan was escorted to his quarters. They were comfortable, larger than any room he had had in the human fleet, yet stark compared to his old life. The walls were silver with soft panels of light, and a large window looked out over the palace courtyard. A bed, simple but comfortable, stood in the corner. A small table held fresh food and water. Ryan unpacked a few items from his satchel and prepared for rest, knowing that he could not afford to let his guard down completely. Every step he took within the palace was a test. Every word he spoke could be observed and judged. Yet he also felt a sense of purpose he had not known in years. He was here to protect a life, and that gave him strength. The next day, Ryan was called to the training grounds. He had expected physical drills, but the queen had something else in mind. The grounds were a wide-open space within the palace walls, filled with alien weapons, obstacles, and training equipment. Guards and trainees moved through the area, practicing drills, but their eyes quickly turned to Ryan as he approached. Zerathia stood at the center of the grounds, her presence commanding attention. When she spoke, her voice carried across the training area. "Human, you will participate in exercises with the palace guards. Your skill will be observed. Remember, your survival depends not only on strength but on intelligence, caution, and respect for our ways." Ryan nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty." The training was unlike anything he had experienced in the human fleet. The guards moved with speed and precision, using tactics unfamiliar to him. Ryan had to adapt quickly, learning the rhythm of their movements, the weight of their weapons, and the logic behind their formations. He made mistakes at first, but he corrected them immediately, showing not only skill but also quick thinking. Lyra watched from the sidelines, her eyes bright with interest. "You are learning fast," she whispered. "I did not think any human could adapt so quickly." Ryan smiled faintly. "I have to survive. That is the only way I can protect you." As the training continued, an unexpected test arose. A group of guards simulated an ambush using tactics designed to catch even the most skilled soldiers off guard. Ryan reacted instinctively, moving with a mixture of human ingenuity and learned Velan techniques. He dodged, countered, and even used his opponent's movements against them. By the end of the exercise, he had not only survived but outperformed several of the guards. Zerathia watched with a neutral expression, yet Ryan sensed a faint approval in her gaze. He had passed the first part of her test. After the exercise, Ryan and Lyra returned to the garden courtyard. The stars above shone bright, and the twin moons cast silver light on the alien plants. Lyra turned to him. "You are different from anyone I have met. You do not fear, yet you do not act recklessly. I trust you more than I thought I could trust a human." Ryan felt a small smile form. "Thank you. I will not betray that trust." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of a guard. "Your Majesty," the guard said, bowing slightly, "there is a matter that requires immediate attention. Some members of the council question the human's presence. They seek to challenge him." Zerathia's eyes narrowed. "They always test what they do not understand. We will see who is loyal and who is not. Bring him to me." Ryan followed the guard through the palace halls once more, aware that each step brought him closer to judgment. The Queen's council chamber was smaller than the throne room but still impressive, filled with advisors, generals, and scribes. Many of them gave him cold, calculating looks. One of the council members stepped forward. "Your Majesty, this human has proven capable, but we cannot ignore the risk he poses. Even if he saved the princess, he is still of a race that has fought against us. How can we trust him?" Zerathia's gaze swept the room. "Trust must be earned, not demanded. He has already saved my daughter, and he has shown skill and intelligence. Let us see if he can continue to earn it." She turned to Ryan. "You will remain under my supervision. You will continue to train, to learn our ways, and to prove that you can adapt to our rules. Your every action will be observed. You must act with honor and caution at all times." Ryan inclined his head. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will do everything to prove my loyalty and protect your daughter." The Queen nodded once. "Good. You may return to your quarters for now, but know that the test will continue. Loyalty is not given. It is earned." As he walked back through the corridors, Ryan reflected on the challenges he had faced and the ones yet to come. He had survived the canyon, he had gained the trust of the little princess, and he had begun to earn the cautious respect of the Queen. Yet the court was full of whispers and hidden threats. Many would try to see him fail. He would need all of his skill, intelligence, and courage to survive in this palace. Back in the garden, Lyra waited. She smiled when she saw him. "You passed the first real test," she said softly. "I know the Queen will continue to challenge you, but I believe in you." Ryan knelt beside her. "Thank you, Lyra. Your trust gives me strength. I will do everything I can to keep you safe no matter what comes next." The stars above twinkled as he spoke, and Ryan felt a determination that he had not felt since leaving Earth. This was no longer just about survival. It was about honor, trust, and protection. He had a purpose that reached beyond himself. He had to earn the Queen's full trust and ensure the safety of the child he had saved. And he knew that in this palace of shadows, every choice mattered. Every action could build trust or destroy it. But Ryan Hale was ready. He would face the challenges, adapt to the ways of the Velans, and prove that a human could be more than an enemy. The night passed quietly, but the human soldier understood that the palace held many secrets, and the Queen's tests were only beginning. The palace was quiet, but Ryan could feel the tension beneath the calm surface. Rumors had begun to spread among the council and the guards. Some whispered that a human had earned the Queen's favor, and many of the older advisors did not trust it. Ryan knew that surviving the palace meant more than protecting Lyra. He had to navigate politics, deceit, and hidden threats. Every step he took could draw attention, either favorably or dangerously. Early one morning, Ryan was summoned to the Queen's private chambers. Zerathia was seated at a low table, surrounded by maps and holographic displays of the frontier world. Her expression was unreadable, her sharp eyes watching him as he entered. "Captain Hale," she said, her voice calm but commanding. "The palace is not as safe as it appears. Those who oppose my decisions have already begun their plans. You have proven skill, but now you must prove loyalty and intelligence." Ryan inclined his head. "I understand, Your Majesty. What do you need me to do?" The Queen's gaze moved to the maps. "There are movements within the outer regions of the palace. Some factions plan to challenge my rule while I am occupied with court matters. You will join a small unit of my most loyal guards. Your knowledge of human tactics may give us an advantage." Ryan nodded, understanding the gravity of the assignment. It was not only a test of his combat ability, but also a test of strategy and judgment. He joined the unit in the early hours of the day. The group moved silently through the palace corridors, their formation precise. Ryan noticed the differences between Valen and human tactics immediately. The Valans relied heavily on speed and coordination, while human soldiers emphasized adaptability and improvisation. Ryan began to combine the two approaches, moving fluidly with the guards while anticipating potential ambush points. Their destination was a hidden chamber beneath the palace. The Valans had designed it as a secure location in case of emergencies. As they approached, Ryan noticed subtle signs of tampering. Doors slightly ajar, unusual marks on the floors. He gestured to the guards and they halted, observing his hand signals. "This way," he whispered. "There may be someone watching." They moved carefully and Ryan led the group into the chamber. The room was dark, but the faint glow from the walls revealed the presence of 3 figures attempting to bypass the security measures. They were palace insiders, advisors who had planned to strike against Zerathia while bypassing normal defenses. Ryan acted quickly. Using a combination of human and Valan tactics, he disarmed one of the intruders before they could activate a signal. Another was trapped against the wall, unable to move as Ryan and the guards secured them. Within moments, the threat was neutralized. When the Queen arrived, she examined the situation calmly. "You have done well," she said. "Most humans would hesitate, but you acted decisively. Your ability to combine tactics saved lives and protected the Empire." Ryan inclined his head. "It was necessary. The threat could have been devastating if not stopped." The Queen studied him for a moment longer, then turned her attention to the captured traitors. "They will face judgment, but you have earned my confidence. You are learning quickly, Captain Hale." Over the next several days, Ryan's presence within the palace grew more familiar, yet always under watch. He trained with the guards, assisted in planning security, and observed the court. His skills and quick thinking began to earn him respect, though many were still wary. Some council members whispered openly, challenging his influence. Ryan realized that survival was no longer just about physical skill. It required patience, diplomacy, and awareness of hidden threats. Lyra remained a constant source of encouragement. She often found him during moments of rest, offering quiet conversation or simple companionship. "You are becoming part of this place," she said one evening as they walked through the glowing gardens. "Even the Queen notices it. I trust you more than ever." Ryan smiled faintly. "Your trust gives me strength. I will not fail you or your mother." One night, an unexpected alarm rang throughout the palace. Ryan, Lyra, and the guards rushed to the source. A group of conspirators had taken advantage of a weak security point to infiltrate the palace. They were armed with energy weapons and had clearly planned an ambush. Ryan immediately took command, positioning the loyal guards to defend the Queen's daughter and the critical chambers. Using a combination of human strategy and Valan coordination, he directed the defenders efficiently. The palace halls became a battlefield, yet Ryan's calm and precise commands ensured that no one was injured. He intercepted attackers, disarmed them, and directed guards to secure strategic points. At one critical moment, a traitor attempted to reach Lyra directly. Ryan moved faster than expected, intercepting the intruder and neutralizing the threat before harm could come to the child. Lyra's eyes widened in awe and relief. "You saved me again," she whispered. The Queen arrived immediately after the confrontation, her presence commanding absolute silence. She studied Ryan, her expression softening ever so slightly. "You have proven yourself beyond words. You saved the child and the Empire today. I cannot ignore your courage, intelligence, and loyalty." Ryan lowered his head slightly, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. "I only did what was necessary, Your Majesty. I serve you and your daughter. The queen nodded. You have become indispensable. But remember, the court still watches. Many will continue to challenge you, and you must remain vigilant. Trust must be earned continuously. Today you earned a measure of mine. The following days brought a subtle shift in Ryan's life. Guards and advisors treated him with cautious respect, no longer openly hostile but still wary of the human among them. Ryan continued training, assisting the Queen's personal security, and strengthening his bond with Lyra. He realized that survival in the palace required not only skill and bravery, but the ability to understand the complex layers of loyalty, trust, and political power. One evening, Ryan sat in the quiet garden with Lyra. The twin moons cast a soft glow on the alien flora, and the stars sparkled in the night sky. You are changing things here, Lyra said quietly. Even the Queen seems to see it. You are not just a visitor anymore. You are part of our lives. Ryan looked at her, feeling the weight of his responsibility. I will do everything to protect this place and the people in it. My life is no longer my own. I am here to serve, to protect, and to earn the trust of those who matter. Lyra smiled, her eyes filled with admiration and hope. I know you will. I believe in you. The palace was still full of secrets and danger, but Ryan felt a growing confidence. He had survived the canyon, gained the trust of the princess, and begun to earn the cautious respect of the Queen. Now he had proven himself in battle, in strategy, and in loyalty. Yet he knew that the trials were not over. The palace was a place of shadows, and the war within it was far from finished. Ryan's resolve strengthened. He would continue to navigate the dangers, protect Lyra, and earn the trust of the Queen. In doing so, he was not just surviving. He was beginning to change the destiny of the palace and the people within it. The challenges ahead would be many, but he was ready to face them one step at a time with courage, intelligence, and honor. The palace was brighter than ever that morning. The twin suns rose over the horizon, casting long shadows across the silver walls. Ryan Hale stood in the courtyard preparing for the day's duties. For weeks he had trained with the palace guards, assisted in security, and gained trust from Lyra and her attendants. Yet he knew that the true test was yet to come. The Queen had summoned him to the throne room, and Ryan understood that today, his role would be decided in a way far beyond any training or battle. Lyra approached him quietly, her silver hair glowing in the early light. Captain Hale, she said softly, I hope you are ready. Mother has called you for an important matter. Ryan smiled faintly. I am ready, Lyra. Whatever comes, I will do my best. The two walked through the halls of the palace. The corridors were alive with whispers and cautious stares. Many advisors and guards looked at Ryan with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. Some were still wary of a human soldier standing in the center of Velan power. Others had begun to see him differently, recognizing the courage, skill, and loyalty he had displayed in recent days. Finally, they reached the throne room. The doors opened silently, revealing the vast chamber bathed in golden light from the palace's inner glow. Zerathia sat on her throne, her presence commanding attention as always. The council and advisors were present, their faces tight with unease. Many of them had clearly expected the human to be a temporary problem, someone to remove or test. Now they were about to witness a decision none of them anticipated, the Queen's sharp eyes fixed on Ryan. Captain Hale, she said, her voice steady and clear, you have served my daughter and my empire with skill, intelligence, and loyalty. You have faced danger and deceit without hesitation. Your actions have earned my attention and my trust. Many would call this unusual. I call it necessary. Ryan bowed his head slightly. Thank you, Your Majesty. I only acted to protect your daughter and to serve you faithfully. Zerathia nodded. You have done more than survive. You have proven yourself worthy of a place within this palace and under my protection. But the council will question your presence. Some may even see it as dangerous. They may attempt to challenge my decision. I will hear them, but I will not be moved. A council member stepped forward, his voice trembling with restrained anger. Your Majesty, while the human has shown skill, he is still a foreigner. He is of a race that has fought against us for centuries. How can we trust him with the heir of the Empire? The Queen's eyes swept the room, silencing the murmurs. Trust is earned, not given freely. Captain Hale has earned mine through action, courage, and unwavering loyalty. He saved my daughter's life, protected the palace from betrayal, and faced danger where many would falter. He will remain under my protection. Those who challenge him will face my judgment. Ryan's heart beat faster. He had faced death before, but never had he stood before a ruler like Zarathia and heard words that could change his life forever. The court was silent, and even the most skeptical advisors were forced to respect her authority. Zarathia stood and descended the steps of her throne. The room seemed to grow smaller under her presence. The attention of every eye focused on her. She stopped a few feet from Ryan and looked directly into his eyes. "Captain Hale, you saved the most precious life in my empire. You have proven that your courage, skill, and heart are worthy. Today I declare that you are under my protection and the protection of my daughter. You are part of this family, whether others accept it or not." The council gasped. Whispers spread across the chamber, but the queen raised her hand. "Silence. Let there be no argument. I am the ruler of this empire, and my word is final. Captain Hale is to remain within the palace and serve as the protector of the heir and as my personal ally. Those who question this decision will answer to me directly." Ryan inclined his head, trying to maintain his composure. "I am honored, Your Majesty. I will serve with all my strength and loyalty." Zarathia's gaze softened slightly as she turned to her daughter. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining with happiness. "Captain Hale has always protected me. I trust him completely. I am glad he will stay." The queen studied the child's expression, then returned her attention to Ryan. "You are no longer merely a guest or a soldier. You are part of my family. You will train with the guards, advise on security, and continue to serve as the protector of this palace. Your loyalty is not just appreciated, it is required." Ryan nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will not fail." The court watched in stunned silence. Some advisors clenched their fists in frustration, unable to accept the presence of a human in the queen's inner circle. Others looked at Ryan with a new respect, realizing that he was more than just a soldier. He was now a symbol of courage and trust. After a moment, Zarathia returned to her throne. "Captain Hale, rise," she said. "You are recognized officially by this court and by the Empire. Let all witnesses know that a human who acts with courage and loyalty can earn the trust of the Valen Empire. Let this be a lesson to those who doubt the value of honor and skill, regardless of origin." Ryan rose, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. He had survived every test, faced danger, and earned a place where few humans had ever stood. The court remained quiet, many still processing the unprecedented announcement. Lyra took his hand gently. "You are part of our family now," she whispered. "I am glad you are here." Ryan smiled, feeling the weight of his responsibility settle on his shoulders. "I will protect you, Lyra. I will protect your mother and this empire. You have my word." The queen's gaze lingered on him, sharp and calculating, yet there was a faint warmth in her eyes. "Captain Hale, you have changed the course of my empire and protected what I value most. Your actions are remembered and your loyalty is recognized. From this day forward, you will serve not only as a soldier, but as a trusted ally of the throne." As the ceremony ended, Ryan realized that his life had changed completely. He was no longer just a soldier stranded on a hostile world. He was a member of the palace, trusted by the queen herself, and recognized as the protector of her daughter. The weight of responsibility was immense, but he felt ready to face it. In the following days, Ryan continued his duties with renewed determination. He trained with the guards, advised on security, and spent time with Lyra. His presence brought a sense of calm and confidence to the young princess, and even the queen began to rely on his counsel in strategic matters. The palace halls, once filled with whispers of doubt and suspicion, now carried a sense of cautious respect. Many still questioned the decision, but they could not ignore the courage, intelligence, and loyalty that Ryan had shown. He had proven that a human could be more than an outsider. He could be a protector, an ally, and a member of the royal family. One evening, Ryan stood on the balcony overlooking the palace gardens. The twin moons reflected on the silver leaves, and the stars shone brightly in the sky. Lyra joined him, her small hand brushing against his. "You belong here now," she said softly. "Not just with us, but with this palace. Everyone knows it." Ryan looked down at the gardens, then up at the vast sky. "I never imagined this life," he said quietly. "But I know that I have a purpose now. I am here to protect, to serve, and to earn the trust of those who need me most." Lyra smiled, her eyes filled with hope. "I believe in you. Mother believes in you. I know you will not fail." Ryan felt a sense of peace he had not known in years. The challenges ahead would be many, but he was ready. He had faced danger, betrayal, and the unknown. Now he had a home, a family, and a purpose that extended far beyond himself. As the twin moons cast their silver light over the palace, Ryan Hale understood that his life had changed forever. He had saved a child, earned the trust of a queen, and found a place in a world far from his own. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a protector, a trusted ally, and a member of a family that spanned species and worlds. The palace was alive with whispers and the quiet movements of guards, yet Ryan felt a calm determination. Whatever challenges awaited, he would face them with courage, loyalty, and honor. The human soldier who had saved a princess was now recognized by an empire, and his story was only beginning. Ryan looked at Lyra and then at the distant horizon. The future was vast, uncertain, and full of challenges, yet for the first time he felt that he was exactly where he belonged,